What's going on, you guys? It is your boy Player X here of the Semi-Limited Podcast. Once again, here for another installment of the podcast that you guys love so very much. Thank you so much for tuning in every week and listening and returning back to do so again. Last year, we were the top podcast for 40 plus viewers for 2023. Can't thank you guys enough, as usual, for helping us branch out and do way more this year for 2024, not only for us, but for you guys as well. On today's episode, we'll be joined by past few guests as we peek into who won YCS Guadalajara that happened over the weekend, the ban list that happened to have dropped over the weekend as well, and what was on it, as well as the effects it had on the market today. So we're going to be having some guests coming on there and giving their opinions as well. But before we get into all that, as usual, guys, let's get into these sponsored plugins. So first, please go to our Linktree link down below. It's in the description box. You can click on that and follow all of our social sites. A tab will pop up, and you can click everything you want to follow that's related to us, whether it be the podcast itself on YouTube, Spotify, and Google Podcasts. Maybe it's the Instagram or the Facebook page. Maybe it's Twitter. So you never know what you guys might want to follow, what you guys might want to be a part of, but be sure to go out there and follow, like, subscribe, all that stuff. Smash whatever buttons you got to be a part of all of the supported platforms for the podcast. We do giveaways as well for every single accolade we hit on all of these social sites. So the next giveaway we'll be having is 50 when we hit 50 followers on TikTok, 100 followers on X or Twitter, and then 200 followers on Instagram, YouTube, and Discord. So be sure to go and share those groups or be a part of it. Tag your friends. Make sure to get people in there because the more followers we get, the more we give back to you guys. Speaking of sponsors and everything like that, be sure to shout out Unplugged Gaming in Banlist, New York. Their Discord server in the description box below. So be sure to click on that and be a part of all their TCG communities. Doesn't matter what it is. If it's cardboard, they got it there for you. Be a part of their online community. You can chit chat, get a new game idea, maybe look for some new cards. And if you pull up in store, be sure to tell them that the boys over at Semi Limited sent you, and they'll be sure to hook you up. And last but not least, guys, as usual, be sure to check out Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch will be in our Linktree link down below. You can go ahead and click on that, and you can catch him streaming. Maybe he's doing deck theory, maybe he's crafting. We're probably play testing for a OTS Championship and maybe another regional coming up. You never quite know, but be sure to go interact with his stream every Saturday, and we'll be talking about it. You'll probably find yourself on the Friday night wrap up when we go to talk about what's going on and what to talk about in the next episode. With all that being said, before we start digging into today's episode, we'd like to introduce our two guests for tonight. We have a couple of them now. These players have been in the market watch scene for a very, very long time. They're also been in the background, very quiet. Very, very happy about that. So can't wait to come out here. They're both very insightful influences in the space. So please welcome back our boys, Vengeful Shadows, as well as YGO, fresh off the press.
Hey, thank you so much. Yeah, and that's Vengeful Shadows on YouTube, and we just do a bunch of market watches, just trying to get knowledge to the hands of players, make sure they can pick up cards just before they go up in price. I mean, everything's a little expensive right now, so being able to save some money on some cards definitely helps everyone out, you know?
All right. Your boy YGO, fresh off the press. Guys, remember on YouTube, you can search me up the same way. I always love coming on, with Player X and the Semi-Limited podcast. It never gets old since the first time. So I appreciate just being on once again. And of course, go check the channel out. We do daily market watches. We cover, the meta. We cover penny stocks. We cover, the latest and greatest, the OCG. We cover it all. So if you're interested in that type of content, make sure you swing by, show some love, subscribe, and I would appreciate it. So thanks for having me on, brother.
Absolutely. We love having you guys on too, especially if you fresh. I mean, that fucking announcer voice, dog, gets me every time I can listen to you talk about whatever it is. You should start doing those nature documentaries, man. I know that one guy's getting up there, that old guy. What's his name? David something?
Right. I'm going to have to be
he's getting up there.
Right.
We have to find a new career path for you now.
Damn, I have to quit on these market watches, bro.
Yeah, you're in the wrong industry there,
right,
guy. Before we get into it, is there any plugins or shout outs you guys may have from any sponsors, any fans, anything like that that's going on that you guys might want to shine some light on?
Only no sponsors as of yet, but just always got to give a shout out to my friend and partner in crime, helps me with all the thumbnails, is Thug314, and he's a beast. So always a shout out to him,
Yeah,
and
he
obviously
is.
shout out for you for having us on constantly and dealing with us. So you're the best, bro.
Oh, I love dealing with you guys. You guys are the best headaches I've ever had. And Doug is actually pretty good at Fortnite. So,
Oh, he's a beast. He's a beast.
yeah, I love fucking with Doug. Shout out to him.
Hell yeah.
Right. Yeah. Shout out to the Semi Limited podcast. You guys are amazing. I'm just glad to be here each and every time, and I'm here right now. I can't wait for the next time. That's how crazy it is.
That's how fun it is
But
to be in the room.
right. But yeah, no. Just shout out my members, man. My channel members. Are amazing, man. Cody, Peak, Cisco, Sage, obviously with the Discord. Man, there's just so many. Sometimes you want to name them, but there's so many of you miss a name here or there. But just the support, man. That all my members, each and every single one, man. Williams, amazing. All of them, man. I love those guys. So I just want to take the
Sage Killer.
opportunity. Yeah, I mentioned him. He runs the Discord. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So all of them. And the ones that I didn't mention, those are the very special ones. You already know. So I appreciate it. Yeah.
And if you don't know, now you know,
Yeah.
Jigga. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, shout out to all of them as well. Appreciate you guys showing my boy Fresh all the love because he deserves it. I think we're all gonna eventually have to subscribe. So be sure to go down there. All of their platforms and YouTubes and Twitters and all that stuff will be down below as well. So be sure to go down there and show them some love. But now that we're got all that out the way, we can start getting off into today's episode. We're going to start off with the competition side of things. So over this weekend, we had not only a YCS going on over internationally, but over in the New York State, or I would say in Connecticut, honestly. We had another regional on the East Coast as well, so we'll be talking about both of those. Not much is known as far as reports from the day of recording today, which is Sunday, of the YCS event. Just that it concluded today. It was over in Guadalajara, and I think we had a bunch of contestants over there. If I'm not mistaken, like the usual, Jesse Cotton showed up. I'm pretty sure Chris LeBlanc was there, Hani, and once again, we do have another winner who won back to back now. So congratulations to Christian Urena for now winning not only the last YCS but Guadalajara as well, getting first place, piloting once again pure snake eyes straight to the top, but maybe for the last time. So as I said, as I'm speaking the day of recording, we will don't have a lot of information on the event, but I'm going to be trying to dig through to see what I can find as the potential last pure snake eyes top that we might have in quite some time. But what about you guys? Are you guys any shocked that Christian Urena went back to back for these two YCS titles? I think that now ties him with Chris LeBlanc and Jesse for 5, if I'm not mistaken, unless Chris won another one.
Honestly, I wouldn't be super surprised with it, even though we're in like what everyone is saying is the tier 0 format. It is always nice to see that in these formats you do see consistent toppings. So a lot of players that like to say it all comes down to luck. I don't think it's always the case whenever you see these names continually on the top of the board.
Correct. Yes.
And like I'll be honest with you, I'm pretty sure, like, I'm glad you kind of filled me in with like the decks and the pilots and who it was, because I kind of had the ban list steal the limelight of all the competition. As soon as that ban list came out, I'll be honest, I was kind of like on that with the markets and everything and just trying to find everything through the bulk. But I think that's just going to be what we're going to be seeing, even kind of for the last of the format that we just saw. It's quite a way to wrap it up. It'd be kind of disappointing not to have Snake Eye actually top that in a way, because it's going to be the last tournament it's going to be at. So it's just interesting. I'm actually just excited to see what we're going to be having in the incoming YCS, honestly.
What about you, Fresh?
Yeah. For me, it was pretty surprising. I won't lie. Not questioning the skill of obviously the champ Christian Urena, but it's more about the fact that it's just how difficult it is to get back-to-back YCS dubs. You know what I mean? Like if you check every YCS winner lately, for the past couple of YCSs, it's actually not as common to see back-to-back winners. Yes, it's happened in the past. Yes, we're accustomed to seeing the top pros and the top tables, and just cycle through each other, and one gets a win in this one and the other one gets a win in that one. But to see just back-to-back YCS dubs with the same deck, essentially, that's pretty impressive and surprising to me. So that's what I actually took from that. Yeah, you could say, well, using the best decks, this, that, and the other, but one event was almost 500 people and the other one was 800 plus. So when you go to back-to-back events like that and you dominate and you win, to me that's surprising. So shout out to him, and he deserves it. He deserves it all in that sense.
Absolutely. I do agree with what Ventral said as far as like it kind of puts like a very nice cherry on top for the saga of the pure Snake Eyes kind of format that we've kind of had going on for like the last 4, 5, 6 months,
Quite a
since
format too.
November,
Way to
more or
bring
less. Yeah.
fire back. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, and I think that it was a good pick. I mean, not to say that it was a bad pick in this format. I mean, obviously it was like the best ceiling, but I did believe in my heart that Pure was the best version and the best way to play Snake Eyes. That the Fire King one was very, very strong. The ceiling was very high on it, but just something about Pure being able to have those hard negates just made it a little bit, I would say, easier to play into like formats where a lot of rogue players and stuff like that. So that was just my opinion. I am glad that Snake Eyes won it, especially with Christian Urena being someone who I personally have looked up videos and watched countless combo videos of him just kind of playing the deck for however long he's been playing it, getting all these tops and having some information to share with the rest of us. Like I'm loving it. I'm kind of curious to see how he takes the deck now, since the ban list, which we'll get into a little bit later as well. Also, before we move on to the next topic, shout out if you guys are listening to this voice crispier now, I would say. So, shout out to Justin Galpo. I just want to give a quick little shout out to him for basically, I wouldn't say donating, but he definitely hooked me up with the homie price for this new mixer. So that way I can get the new microphone plugged in. So, we now have the M Shure XLR plugged in now with the Wave interface. So shout outs to Justin for donating that to the podcast. I really appreciate that, homie. Like, I really do appreciate little things and gestures like that to help us upgrade the setup for not only ourselves but for you guys as well, the listeners. So just a quick tidbit of that. And also, speaking of the competitive scene, we have some congratulations also in order for our very own Brendan Agnet, our sponsored duelist, for going out once again this weekend to the Hartford, Connecticut Regional and on the East Coast and piloting his way to 10th place once again with Voiceless Voice. Unfortunately, just missing out on that mat that he's so often is complaining about wanting. But he has been on a grind mode lately, and it's really crazy to see him and Devon going out there. And I think he's dragging me to the next Hartford, Connecticut Regional in about 3 weeks. So I'll be probably going out there trying to earn my invite as well. So we support him on his way to win a mat this season, and much congratulations to him for doing so well and continuing to do well as well. Speaking of the competitive season, though, the real reason you guys are kind of tuned into the podcast, I can definitely tell, is the big news that we got over the weekend, right smack in the middle of YCS Guadalajara, right smack in the middle of this Connecticut regional, was the ban list dropping on top of everything going on. So this was the second time that the Konami decided to drop a ban list in the middle of a big ass event like that. I don't understand why they're doing this or like what they get off of it, but they just decided that this is the best time for players to know like what is going to be banned. And we also have a split ban list as far as when the effect date takes place, and we'll get into that as well. But the list is as following for those who have living under a rock and don't know. Forbidden now as of April 15th for the North American and Latin American player base. We have Link Karibo now forbidden from 3-0. We have Baron DeFleur banned from 3-0. We have Borload Savage Dragon banned from 3-0. And we also have Summon Limit banned from 3-0. Which is crazy to me. I was flabbergasted by that one. And then going to limited, we had Arch Nemesis Protos going from 0-1. Crazy to me. Don't know why we did that. Titled the Dragon Ruler of Waterfalls going from 0-1. We knew that was kind of coming off. The first kind of mix-up we have is Thunder Dragon Colossus going from 0-1. And then we also have Magispector Kirin going from 0-1. And we have Chicken Game going from 0-1. And then the last limit going from 3-1 was Anti-Spell Fragrance. So another floodgate being hit as well. On a semi-limited list, we have Armageddon Knight going from 1-2. And then we have Pearly Delicious Memory going from 1-2, which I think is pretty good for them. I don't think that Pearly needed the boost, but I know they're definitely welcoming it for sure. And then unlimited status, we now have Destiny Hero Militias, which is going to take people for a prize. We have Harp Horror going from 1 straight to 3. We have Speedroid Terratop going from 2-3, and then we have Sky Striker Mobilize Engage going from 2-3 as well. So this was a crazy list. It did put a lot on and a lot off. So what was your guys' first initial reactions upon hearing this list from your competitive side as well as your market side?
Um, Link Karibo. What the hell? That was my immediate reaction. Is like, no way. Which I know a lot of people are talking about that being kind of the filler for Ash going away, or them hitting the original Sinful Spoil package. Which I mean, I guess for the money side of Konami, like we understand why they don't want to be hitting out all their new stuff. We got those dueling hero tins coming in
Yep.
September, guys. We got to
Yep.
make sure to sell those. You got the Kaiba and Yugi. Gotta get that product out. So I guess Link Karibo will be, the straw man this format. So there we are. We got Link Karibo going away for some reason. I don't think that's balanced at all, but again, I think it's for money. As far as the Omni Negates, I am so happy to see them gone. I'll be honest, like I am glad they're gone. Will they come back one day? I'm sure. I'm sure the power ceiling will go crazier one day, and it's like, oh, Baron ain't that bad. But for now, I think it just makes balancing their game easier, like especially when we're on the TCG side, because we're a little bit more aggressive, a little bit more than the OCG. And then, like you, summon limit. I thought they were just gonna do the emptiness thing where they drop it to 1 maybe and then put it to 0. But man, I guess they saw what it did. I think that was at the YCS when he just flipped it up. Hani just flipped it up and it just ended the game right then and there. And I think that was the moment we kind of should have known Summon Limit was going to be gone for the rest of the format. The limited list completely insane. I mean, Protoss is like, no, please no. Titles, I think we were all expecting title. Thunder Dragon Colossus is one a lot of people, including myself, were calling for a while back, and it's just like right now is interesting that it's coming back, I guess, to kind of combat the Snake Eye. And then Kieran is about time. Chicken Game's awesome. Anti-spell fragrance overall has been great. And then the semi-limited list was overall, I think, okay. But unlimited, it was crazy with the malicious and the engage. I think we're going to be seeing those overall kind of do affect the meta, especially malicious. I mean, you can just tech that thing in a bunch of decks. I mean, we even have combos with Beatrice and you're like needing all the 6s and stuff. So malicious is definitely going to be incorporated in a few things. And what I think this did for like prices as far as like market watch like goes, we already saw Dimensional Barrier essentially being bought out with like Quarter Century of Secrets. They've just been spiking, and this is just going to solidify themselves in the marketplace because with Tempai coming down the pipeline, we're definitely just going to be seeing like them be played heavily in the next format. And with Summon Limit gone, like I said, it's just going to solidify that. So I think we're just seeing a bunch of prices like shoot up, like you were even mentioning earlier with the Thunder Dragon support and all sorts of stuff just spiking out of control. So we're seeing a lot of change.
Mm-hmm.
All right, thanks. Yeah. So you guys said most of it, so I'm gonna just recap real quick and just I'll give my thoughts. Again, Link Haribo, you guys said it best. They just want a squash, just the easy access to bring this monster out. Plus, use the graveyard effect to just get over certain effects and things of that nature. So we saw that one coming. The Omni Negates, yeah. I mean, again, when you're playing game after game after game, you go second, and then you have to face a field with multiple Omni Negates. Is not as fun. So that we saw that one coming as well. For Summon Limit, we mentioned it on this channel. Honestly, I thought that Summon Limit and Anti Spell Fragrance was going to go through the Gozen rivalry and Tikaboo treatment where they both would be put to 1, but in Summon Limit's case it just got straight banned. So Konami recently, I've noticed they're really coming for floodgates. So we mentioned that many weeks and months ago, and it's nice to see it happen that way. For the limited list, yeah, Protoss, insane broken effect. Sword Soul now get to slap this and actually compete. So it's just an insane effect. Not too much to say with that title. We saw that one coming. We said the same thing. They were unlocking the other Thunder. I'm sorry, not Thunder, Dragon Rulers. So we saw title coming as well. That was easy peasy. Thunder Dragon Colossus was just one of those cards where you feel like it's going to come back each list, and it never did until it did in this one. So it was going to be surprising whenever they did release it, and it's here now. It's insane just how good the card is. And even at 1, if you slap this alongside like other broken cards, then it's just another broken problem that you need to deal with. So I'm intrigued. And curious to see how it'll definitely impact the meta. Just a draw and Lockbird there on the field, chilling Macmillan. I can't wait to see how that pans out. For Kieran, we also saw that one coming. We said that Mage Specters got new support. recently. So we said, man, Kieran, we thought that the last list would put it a one. It didn't. So we said this one definitely that was going to be the case. So that was easy peasy. Chicken game, I had no idea. For me, it came out of left field. I saw
Yeah,
the
that one
card
was odd. Yeah.
yeah, once or twice in my lifetime. Went back to it after the list came out. Was like insane that this card is back. So we'll see how this card impacts the meta. Anti-spell, already talked about it. Just like Summon Limit, we saw this one going down to one. In Summon Limit's case, it just got banned. Semi-limited Armageddon Knight came back. No one really cares unless you're an Edison player. You just want to play Edison in modern form, modern advanced Yu-Gi-Oh format. And then purely delicious memory. Yeah. Yeah. Not too much to talk about that. And then on limbs, you guys mentioned it. Malicious was the key move there. Back up to 3. It's just splashable as an engine in so many different decks. Just to have that extra body on field from the grave, banish and get it. It's just too easy, man. Honestly. So we'll see how that impacts the meta. Hardcore came back to 1, didn't do much. They unlimited it. So not much to say about that one. Speedroid Top, same deal. We've been covering this one on the channel, saying that we expected it to go back up to 3 because in the previous one it went up, to 2. So we saw that one come in. Then lastly, Engage. I mean, we talked about it as a possibility, seeing that we were getting future support, Sky Striker support coming soon. It would just make sense to unlock this card, and it happened. So a lot of these we were speculating a lot. We got most right actually, but a couple wrong. As obviously, who's gonna know? Everything that's gonna get
Yeah, it's
off the
never
list.
100%. Yeah.
Right. But I feel like we did a good job with this one on the channel, just speculating and analyzing the markets. And it's just insane how the markets have reacted and all the price craziness going on right now.
Yeah, not even that. Just like the choices for the deck. Like, look at the ban list. All 4 of those cards are played in pure Snake Eyes. Some of them end aside with the main deck of Link Karibo, Baron DeFleur, and Savage. You being able to end on all of those if you quite literally wanted to. So I feel like they really did away with the pure version of Snake Eyes. Although looking at these hits, you still have the Fire King version, which is probably going to be the best version. Of course, there's other rogue versions like the Dino one, which is bringing out the Lars. There's obviously Rescue Ace and shit like that. The Volcanic one probably is not going to be too much hit, but definitely pure Snake Eyes for a fact. Konami looked at dead in the eyes and said, "Yeah, you guys are done. Just sit the fuck down." And it's weird because a lot of these cards, I think all these cards, with the exception of Link Rebo, was just in Rarity Collection. So you basically got all the rarities, and you could play them for however long you wanted to. You just got access to it just for it to get banned. It was really, really wild. I mean, I understand hard to gates is as all these are the end board. If you don't want to hit the deck itself, hit the board it ends on, which I can understand. But this was just like, just crazy to me. Like rogue decks now, like this helped so many other decks. The Vanadium is basically unplayable now because you just took out 2 of the things that it's going to end on. Dragon Link just got hit again, like with Savage and Baron DeFleur, because they both end on that. So now what are they going to end on? A Death Patter with a fucking Borland Dragon? That don't seem like too strong. Summon Limit being banned, I'm cool with, but those were just some weird bans to me personally.
Well, I think you mentioned it too with the Rarity Collection. I mean, like that's a huge thing. It's like, and people are like, well, about Appaloosa or the IP, and we're kind of like, well, those on Rarity Collection too, man. You got to buy them 1st, and then they're gonna ban them after you have them. Like we got to get this right. So I think it's good that you actually mentioned that, because I think a lot of those cards that were in that first Rarity Collection are up on the chopping block. If they step out of line in the format, Konami will have no problem getting rid of any of those, whether that's Triple Tactics Talent or Evenly Matched or anything of like that regards. Like all those cards are definitely like up on the block. You just saw it. Like Summon Limit, the moment it sees any like super competitive play, gone. They didn't even put it to 1. They really didn't care because they made all the purchases that they need off of it. And again, I think that's going to kind of follow through with some parts of Rarity Collection too. I don't think it's going to be as like powerful or like meta impactful with all like the broken stuff as we've already got it from the first one. But it's just something to keep an eye on when we're talking about IP and Appaloosa.
Yeah, just quickly, I agree with you guys. That was just crazy how, let's say, Summon Limit, you came in, you shed at 75 billies for a play set. You're like, man, I'm gonna rock with these. I'm gonna hit, YCS,
Cough,
maybe,
vengeful, cough,
yeah,
cough.
maybe Nats. We're gonna be popping off, and then no banned. After just a couple of months, it's just how soon it was. It's not like cards can get hit from any set, from any product, but the fact just how soon, in the sense where, like, man, you feel like some people are just getting their hands on these on the higher end plays, and now they can't play them anymore. It's a little drastic by Konami, in the sense where, like, come on, man, you need a pre-plan, in the sense, like, just thinking your players a little bit. Imagine people shedding all that money, or maybe even investing. Let's say you got one Barone for you and an extra play set. That's like $200, and now the QCSR is dumping down. Of course, we win and we lose some, but it's just tough on some players, and I get how the community would react negatively to that, in that sense.
No, I get you too. I think we definitely should look at Rarity Collection too, not only for the reprints that it's going to have, but also if it's giving us access to these cards, as Venj also mentioned, that some of them might be on the chopping block. We could look at Appaloosa, which people have been complaining about, although it's ban worthy. I don't think they will ban it. I don't think it will be a banned card, but it is ban worthy. IP Masquerena coming out into a different rarity. Once again, the alternative art we're going to have access to, and that's another staple that ends on every people's board because it goes into SP Little Knight, which is crazy because those cards could very well be on the next chopping block. Anything else on these lists could very well be up for grabs. Like, nothing is safe, especially with the fact that you thought the market was being wrecked because of Rarity Collection. Is actually going to be the game once we find out what of these cards are going to be on there. I mean, moving over to the limited list, Protos coming off, I think, was really, really crazy. I don't know why that necessarily happened, like, especially if we're putting all the floodgates onto the list, taking one off. I guess if you're going to, like, help Sword Soul out, taking away Baron but giving them Protos is, I guess, something. But the way I look at it is just, you're just going to summon Protos and now I'm going to nib you. We've got no negate. So that just seems very off. Of course, Protos went to, like, fucking, I don't know if you guys saw, but Protos went to like $50, $60 yesterday. When the ban list was announced.
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense, honestly. I mean, I think that's gonna follow suit to what we might even be seeing in the future, because like all the cards that got limited, like put to one, basically, we got, you said, the Protos, we got the title, we have the
Colossus.
Thunder Dragon Colossus. Those are all cards that they're going to reprint more of. Even like if you were keeping up with the OCG, they have the Pride that just came out. I'm pretty sure Colossus was in Pride as like the quarter century and stuff like that, because they put the Thunder Dragons in there, and I'm pretty sure Colossus was reprinted, and we're gonna be probably imported those cards or select of those cards in RC2 and other future product. I would not be surprised if like they did a lot of these unbans, because like their product that can be reprinted and moved by Konami still. Again, I like, this is a very financial ban list. Like, this is not a balancing list. This is a financial ban list.
This is a money play.
It's crazy. Yeah, it is.
Fresh, I know you saw that the Magic Spectre link went up from like $2 to like fucking 30 or some crazy shit. Like, the amount of times on people's investment is going crazy.
Yeah, it is. It is. I mean, first with Protos, like you guys said, actually, we covered that in today's Market Watch collaboration with Saki. Shout out to Team Sakurasu.
Absolutely. Shout out to Team Saki.
Hell yeah.
Of course. Yeah. We were talking about Protos together, and we were watching it, around high 30s, 40s, and 50s. We were looking at the charts, and it was just insane. Going from 5-6 billies to up there. It was crazy, and of course, it's just a great card. I mean, that wasn't the ban list; it was banned for a reason. So to get it back now, it's insane, and we'll see how that impacts the meta. But yeah, you guys are right. With the Thunder Dragon play, with all these limited cards. It seems like we're getting more reprints of this down the line. We have a Battles of Legend coming out, Rarity Collection, a lot of reprint products. So a lot of people just talk about the Rarity Collection, but yeah, Battles of Legend is a reprint set, and everyone looks forward to that. And each summer or yearly or whatnot, whatever doesn't come in the Rarity Collection could definitely come there. So Konami needs to sell those products, those reprints. Get the community hype. So what the best way to do it is just to come out with this list, give us a lot of cards that were banned or had low prints, and I'll reprint it to the masses. And it's like a kid, receiving candy on Christmas. So you know what I mean.
No, 100%. Like, I feel as though, like, this is exactly what we should be prepared for. We knew a lot of these were going to be coming off the list. I mean, the ones that obviously we didn't know, like the Kyrians, the Protoses, the fucking Colossuses. If you happen to just have a gut feeling knowing that they were going to come off, then shit, you kind of plus, you banked. You banked on having that risk of dipping in without having any real knowledge, but that gut feeling telling you, yeah, something just says pull the trigger on these. But yeah, if you did, congratulations, you definitely plussed over there. Was there anything that you guys feel like Konami missed or maybe overlooked and like didn't put on the list that they probably should have? Maybe if like you said, for money purposes or even just for the balancing purposes, because we are about to have like Legacy of Destruction imported in. We now have a ban list that's going to shake up what was the meta deck. So a lot of these other rogue decks have the power shift to kind of step up a little bit more. Is there anything that you feel that Konami should have washed up on?
I mean, as far as the money side, I think they did a very, very tactical job on their end. Honestly, they were very precise. As far as balancing, oh yeah, I mean, there's tons of stuff they can do. I mean, we're gonna be seeing Snake Eyes eventually on this overall, unless they somehow get power crept out of the meta altogether, which I don't really see that happening. I mean, we even see what is coming down the pipeline with the next few sets, and a lot of that won't be contending as heavily with Snake Eye, as much as some of the decks we already have around, like Labyrinth or Runic Stun.
Yep.
So I do believe, which by the way, guys, Runic survived another banlist, which I love, by the way. I'm a big fan of. Like, anytime I don't see a Runic Fountain on here or tip or something, I'm excited.
You stun guys are
So,
weird. I don't understand
and,
yours.
summon limit to 3 again, please. But so it's like, I think we're gonna eventually gonna be seeing like Ash potentially, or as a lot of people were talking about, the original Sinful Spoil getting put on here. One day we might see the Fire King here and get put on here again as like the format proceeds. But I think right now they just want to have those products available to everyone in the reprint set, and then even in the Fire King structure. Like you said, they hit the pure version, they kept the Fire Kings around. Well, guess what? That's one of their most recent products that they have circulating, to the masses. So
Correct.
I think eventually we're just going to see a realigning of the ban list. If anything, it'll be like, maybe we'll get our Link Karibo back, and then some of these Snake Eye stuff will be hit. So I think we'll see a little bit of an adjustment there, and a bunch of these to 1 cards. It wouldn't be a surprise if like Protos gets reprinted and then banned again or something. But that's about it.
Honestly, a card that I thought would come to 1 on the limited list, at least this time around on this list, would have been Heavy Storm. Heavy Storm is a broken
Yes.
card.
Mm.
We already have Harpy's Feather Duster. We have triple Dark Holes, I think, Regekis, everything. You know what I mean? Of course, destroying your own back row, you can do shenanigans with that as well. But at the same time, just to one. You play a Harpy's Feather and a Heavy Storm. I think we could deal with that. So honestly, I thought this would be a list where it was prime for this card to come back at least to 1, just to pair with Harpy's Feather Duster. But I think I said Feather Storm. I meant Feather Duster. But yeah, yeah. But at the same time, it didn't happen. Konami didn't have it in its plans. So probably this is a card that I would be keeping an eye out for into the future for the next list. Is one that I would try. And pick up maybe a couple of Vultures max rarity, or maybe a DB1 super rare. And obviously, your boy needs to talk about diagrams of Masterpiece, bro. I'm gonna
This
talk this thing.
motherfucker.
I'm gonna talk this thing until it happens,
All
man.
right, guys, that was the episode. We had a great episode. Time to wrap this shit up. We're running out of life points, so whatever the fuck the outro is.
I need to speak it into existence, bro. I know one day I'm gonna wake up, a banner is gonna come out, and I'm gonna see Masterpiece, the true Draco Slaying King to 1, man. That's gonna be the happiest day of my life. That's gonna be the time where you're gonna see your boy go competitive again, go to the regionals out here in Florida, and start going to
Yes.
YCSs. But until then, damn, we'll see what we'll do. Maybe Lightsworns, got me rolling. But yeah, man, Diagram, man, I thought maybe the 2 just bump it up, let us, at least play a true Draco or true Kings, but that didn't happen. And obviously the King is still sleeping, hibernating, and hopefully
It's
one day,
still sleeping.
hopefully he can wake
Yo,
up.
this nigga crazy. Yo, where's that donation button so I can tell this motherfucker to never mention Masterpiece for the rest of the time?
Yeah, those are my thoughts, brother.
Yeah,
Oh,
no,
man.
I think that goofed up saying Feather Storm, but I think that
Yeah,
that's
yeah.
another card that they definitely could have touched up on too. I
Yeah,
know we're gonna be talking a little bit later about the new card that was revealed. That's kind of a stop against Flu, or at least a somewhat of a play against them. But I think that's another card that definitely could have been hit on the ban list. I'm definitely glad to see that OSS survived, but I don't know if it's at the cost of me playing the variant of the deck that I like most, because I was drawn to Snake Eyes to begin with just because of the pure variant, like to be able to use Jet Synchron and putting up a couple hard negates, and you basically have a couple hand traps to back it up. The Flambers and the Zealantis OTK was just so precise, but I don't know, with Baron and Savage being gone, like both of them at the same time, it's just kind of crazy to see. Do you guys think that any of the cards that were put on the ban list of those 4 cards could come back at any point in time, or do you think that they're justly so? Because Baron, we all talk about is it, I guess we kind of underlook it, but it definitely is a strong card. It does 3 different effects. Same with Savage. It does, a gain, and it does the negating. So like this, do you think any of these could ever come back, or is it just
100%.
like temporary?
100%. Yeah, especially like Link Kuriboh, especially number one, definitely. I think will be back. As far as like Savage and Baron, like I definitely think Savage will be back one day. We'll see about Baron, and then like Summon Limit. Yeah. I'd love to see that.
No, you just want
I don't
some
know if
back. That's just
yeah, I
not
just
coming
want to.
back.
Yeah.
I just know some people hate Link ones, especially one that's generic as that.
Know.
But like,
I play Ghost
I
Tricks,
just same
man.
thing.
Give
I
me
didn't
my
think it
Link
needed to go.
Kuriboh. No, that was insane.
What about you, Fresh?
Yeah.
You think anything could come back?
Yeah, I mean, I think the what you can when you see these 4 cards, what they share in common is how easy they are to make. You know what I mean? Or at least at the time where they were banned, just how easy it was to make these broken cards. That if you played them, especially the Omni Negates or the Floodgates, that's it. GGs, move on to the next game. So Konami wanted to move away from that for now. I think Summon Limit comes back to one in the future to get again that goes in treatment, to get that rivalry, that Tikaboo, that anti-spell. Just keep those floodgates at 1 so that you play all of them at the same time, I guess. But I think that's gonna happen in the future. And yeah, but we'll see. We'll see what happens down the line.
No, I can agree with that. I think that maybe some of them could probably go to 1, but band was a little bit too much. 0 was crazy. I think that all floodgates personally should be at 1, so skill drain should be on there as well. As much as I kind of decently like skill drain, but I don't know, that was a little bit wild to me. And then the last thing about the ban list I kind of want to talk about was like the malicious to 3. Like we kind of have the semi-limited list, no pun intended, because it's called the malicious list because that's the correct number for malicious to be at. So for malicious to go to 3 and leave the semi-limited like tier, I think that's a big deal. I think it was the malicious tier for a reason, and now that motherfucker escaped. He's gone.
Oh yeah, and I think heroes will make use of that too. I mean, we already seeing some of these crazy like 1-2 card combo like hero boards that are like ending, and then they got Dark Law. I mean, it's gonna be a time.
Any generic combo deck, I think, is going to utilize it now. I think the sole reason you couldn't use it and it was only in heroes is because there was 2. But now that there's 3, there's a higher probability of it. It's just stronger. The ceilings is way higher. Like yada yada. So that'll be good.
Exactly. Like just how splashable it is. This is a card that is easy to get to the grave for most, like you said, combo decks. So again, it's splashable. Now you get 3 copies. And I think that just again, like I said, just getting that extra body, it's important. Instead of doing it once, now you could do it twice and pop off. So it's very important. So I agree with you guys.
Yeah, and then right before we switch to the next topic, are there any cards that you guys think that we should be looking at now that we have a ban list? As well as I've mentioned, we have Legacy Destruction right around the corner. As you said, we have another Battles of Legend as well. Like, is there any cards that we should be looking at towards now? Maybe on like the rogue side, maybe a tech card, something that you guys think should like the eye should be on. You should probably have it now in your possession before things get wild.
For sure. And like I think a big thing is we're going to be moving potentially into like the Tenpai deck with the dragons coming out, and as we saw with the rarities, they're actually like very very budget. So that's definitely going to be having a lot of players be playing that card or playing that deck, and a lot of cards or a lot of players are actually resorting to the dimensional barrier in the up and coming format. So I think Dimensional Barrier is just gonna be like the number 1 card if people don't have, you definitely need to get. Like we said, and we were actually talking about on like the market watches on the channel, that Dimensional Barrier was actually, I mean, it was like about $15-$16, and now it's what is it, like 40s, like $38 to $40, like a little bit
Something
above.
like that,
so yeah, for quarter centuries, those are nice. So yeah, if you need some collector rares, they're pretty affordable still right now, as well as like all the other rarities. So Dimensional Barrier is just gonna be just seeing a ton of play once Tenpai comes out in the deck, against the deck, and against some of the other variants of decks that we're going to be seeing. If anyone wants to play like Branded or even some of the new Exceed decks coming out, like the Goblin Riders, all that does get shut down by the Dimensional Barrier. So I think that's just like the number 1 card. A few other cards I think players need to be on the lookout for is like Infernal Flame Banshee is one. I just was looking into that, and someone bought 57 of these yesterday. Okay, so Infernal Flame Banshee is definitely someone's getting ready for this.
Someone's
All right,
eyeing
and
this
that's
shit.
because it's a rank 4, and with the Ashen support coming out with the Vados and everything, that a lot of the cards lock you into Pyro. So being able to overlaying their level 4s into the rank 4 Banshee is really, really good. So Banshee right now is like $3, like $4 or something. So if players aren't equipped with Banshee, now is like the time to be doing that. And we're actually seeing its price just spike. And that's because, like I said, it's the rank 4, it's Pyros, it searches a Pyro from the deck and either adds it to the hand or sends it to the graveyard. And then if it's banished and you control a Pyro monster, you can special summon this card. And then it also gains attacks on top of that. So we're going to be seeing this just played in like the combo variants when Ashen gets more support. And we're actually seeing a lot of the support being leaked out right now from Yu-Gi-Oh! Or Italian Yu-Gi-Oh! So shout out to them because they actually have a lot of good content. And so Infernal Flame Banshee, definitely something in the future for the players. And then, so kind of following suit with that would be like Awakening of Vados, because we're seeing Vados himself is just shooting up in price. And a lot of players, I don't think, are yet aware that like if you use Awakening right out the rip, it is going to set up your combo so far into the future because you get to place the Obsidian on the opponent's board, add a Vados to your hand, and that right there just starts the combo. And then once we get that super poly trap that Vados can set directly to the board from his effect, that Awakening is going to be the #1 starter that you want for the build. So they've already gone up in price, so they're like $6-7 right now from like 3-4s, but they're like, given how good that starter is, it like for $6 that's actually like really affordable. And then to wrap it up would be like Arc Nemesis Escados. We've talked about Protos. We see how much that has spiked in price. If the Arc Nemesis Escados, which is the one that uses types, not attributes, ever gets played into the metagame, I do believe it will also follow suit with a price increase, considering it's like a $3-4 card right now for the Ultra, which is the Hollow version. And then I think the last card players will be looking for is the Black Goat Laughs. And that's kind of a card a few of the players have been teching with the Labyrinth deck. And it's much like Dimensional Barrier, where you have to have a little bit of foresight of what your opponent is playing, but it does get around the decks kind of much like the Tempai, where once the monsters are on the board, they're going to be unaffected. And we're seeing this with Gimmick Puppet, we're seeing this with Tempai. This is kind of a new thing with Yu-Gi-Oh! So being able to use Black Goat, which will actually block out their main monster being summoned, it will actually, kind of cut off the combo line with the Tempais if you hit their, I believe, the level 7 dragon of the Rise Dragons. And then also that will force them into alternative plays, which then you can use Black Goat's Laughs, the second effect on your turn, to negate their monster effects and then proceed with your combos. So Black Goat Laughs actually affordable right now. It's like $11, $12, $13, but I think for a secret rare, that could definitely go higher.
Yeah, and that's definitely one that Labyrinth was definitely like utilizing too. Like to be able to call any card and just stop your opponent from using it, prohibition effects. Those are especially on quick effects.
Yeah,
Those
on
definitely
paper,
those launch.
it's hard to see how good these cards are on paper, but once they're played in the tournament setting is when players realize how good they are.
For sure, for sure. What are your thoughts on those cards, Fresh, before you go into yours?
Yeah, that's great. I mean, usually I'm one that focuses on, penny stonks or cheap cards like that. So I agree 100% with those 5 cards. Those would be 5 cards that I would be recommending, on my channel as well. I've talked about a couple of those as well. So yeah, Vengeful just hit it, 100% on the dot. And there's nothing much to add with regards to those 5 cards. Good job.
Mm-hmm. What about your picks?
Yeah, my picks. Again, usually I go more penny stonkish, more cheap cards to pick up right now. So just to be a little bit of a contrast to Vengeful, I will go with a little bit of the higher end cards that people will probably either be picking up or that they've been picking up or that they will in the short term. So I'm starting with Heatwave again. Tempai Dragons are essentially here. This card has been spiking up like crazy. It only has 3 prints. It's a card that definitely needs a reprint very, very soon. The demand has gone bonkers. Just seeing here, I mean, the card was 2 billies and now it's 20s. It's been basically done a 10x in a matter of a couple of weeks. That's insane. That's not common in the Yugiverse. I mean, to get just that 10x in that short time, frame. So that's pretty impressive. Again, the demand is here. It's a hard card to get. Most of the prints I think are like, or all of them are like commons or there's a rare and 2 commons. So it's not like people are coming in getting holographic versions. No, they just need access to the card. So the 5 cards starting with this one is just getting access to these, even though for the most part you're going to have to be paying a premium. For number 2, I have Vados again, just to piggyback off Awakening of Vados. I mean, Vengeful, talked about it in the competitive sense, and I mean, there's nothing I can add to that right there, other than the fact that price-wise is at all-time highs right now at around 40 billies. And honestly, I expect 45 to 50s in the short term. Same thing. Just the demand is crazy. The card is too good. The effect is too broken. It's too generic in the sense that this is a meta-relevant staple right now, in the sense that most people are going to be using this card. It's a secret rare from Phantom Nightmare. It's just getting harder and harder to get the card. Listings are going lower. So again, all-time highs. Usually when a card makes an all-time high, it just enters price discovery and it keeps pumping up. You know what I mean? So this is one that I expect actually to continue increasing in price in the short term. At number 3, I have Sky Striker Ace Azalea. It's a card that again,
Azalea.
tied to Engage and the Sky Striker support. Engage now to 3. Sky Striker support coming just around the corner. We said, people, guys, pick up Engages. So now we're moving and shifting to this card that again people forget about. No one's really paying attention. It's still a $14 to $15 card. Honestly, I think this is gonna be 20s. By the time you wake up tomorrow, Player X. So people should be looking at people should be looking at this card from Battles of Legend Monsters Revenge, a set that is hard to get. It's a year old, a little bit over a year or whatnot. It's not as easy to pick up or crack these packs open or pick these cards up. So this is definitely, again, a single print card that it's getting, support. Sky Striker, Konami loves Sky Strikers. The community loves Sky Strikers. So when you combine those factors, this is, easy money. Like I like to say, it's definitely 20s in the short term, probably 30s down the line. So given that potential to X. Then we have Cashier Fenrir. Obviously one that most of, at least me, and a lot of people thought it's time to at least get slapped, or tapped on the ban list, at least a 2 slapped on the wrist. But it didn't.
Nah,
It didn't. It's still
nah.
here at 3s. It's still here
Your
at
boy out
play
here
set. No,
flourishing.
no. I mean, I could notice. You good because they hit a rise heart. After a rise heart got hit, I mean, you have to
Hey.
hold on to something.
We don't speak
You have
about fallen gods, okay?
right. You have to hold on to something,
The
and
Lord himself.
you're holding on to triple Fenriers. So you're doing good. You're doing well. The OT's getting cleaned out right now. I mean, single digit listings pushing 55 to 60s. The demand is here. People are like, oh, I can still play 3. It's a safe bet. Let me get the OTs right now. So of course, Fenrir, people play it either in the pure version or as a mini engine at 3s, obviously with the playset because it searches itself. Why not? I mean, the card is broken. It's been broken since it came out. It's still at a playset, so why not? The demand is coming in, and I expect this card to still stay super relevant in the metagame right now. And then lastly, on number 5, I have the Bistio Lubellion. Lubelli here. I mean, again, the Bistio package, Magnum hit to 1 in the previous list, but again, it skipped this ban list. Lubellis are still at 3s. Druid Worms are out there. Saraniers, all of them. Dispater. So the engine is intact. This is splashable with Runics, with many different other deck archetypes. So I like it. I like Lubellions now right here around 14, 15s. I think this is the floor price. It went all the way down to 13s, but honestly at 15s, again, this is a great card that I expect 20s easily, and this is an easy $30 card down the line, a card that used to be 80 billies before it got reprinted. So I really do like Lubellion as a great pickup right now.
The QCRs for Rebellion are pretty crazy too. If I'm not mistaken, those are like what, several $100s as well too. Like close to like $200.
Of course,
So like
yeah. Great pickup.
100% seeing them. Yeah, even if you want to go ahead and bling your deck out, those are definitely some good picks. I definitely like Heat Wave. Heat Wave for Tenpai is going to be crazy, and you're right. Those comments have been crazy, and I think they're like speed duel comments too. It's not even like it's like a real like common card. It's like speed duel. It's like touching like $15, $20. It's crazy.
Yeah,
I know. Venge himself is going crazy over the Vidos shit.
Vados! I love
yeah.
that thing so much. Also, I mean, I'll be honest, like the Bistio Lubellion's a really good choice too, because I think players just aren't like Bistios are amazing. Bistios are amazing, like you said, they're like techable in Runic, and I think a thing that a lot of players are kind of overlooking is in the OCG, we're going to be seeing Magna Hut or Magna. I always forget his name, but like the
Magnemite, yeah.
searchable one, yeah, Magnemite. He will like actually be able to search the Tempais as well. So like they actually side those, like side that in kind of like the little bestial line sometimes with the Tempai, as well as we're actually seeing the Light and Darkness Dragon control, like Runic Stun and everything like that. And if you use bestial package in that, you can actually search Lad, summon it, and when Lad dies, you can recycle the Magna and then search another Lad during the end phase. So it's just fun stuff, you know. So I don't know. I love that. Love that
Yeah,
card.
this man is gonna come back into the format when this shit is full power. This man may be a stun player at heart, but he's coming back full Vitos power when this shit.
Yeah.
I
Oh,
swear,
bro, that's gonna
every
be so
time a
fun.
new Vitos card drops in our Discord, so shout out to Semi-Limited Discord. This motherfucker is the first one to tag me in some shit.
Bro, I was literally telling people they're going to get a super poly trap continuous. Like yeah, no, we needed it, we got it. That I was literally like scrolling through the Italian Yu-Gi-Oh! I was like, okay, none of these are the super poly. Where is it? Where is it? And then he leaked it last.
Where
I
is
was
it?
like,
Where's the
yes,
trigger?
I need it, man. And
I
it's
just
actually
wanted to
good.
say, real quick with Heat Wave, I went to Walmart. I picked up 2 of those speed boost things. They were selling them for like $8. Sage did the same thing. I got lucky. It's
X's.
hard. Yeah, it's hard to get these.
X's.
So, I cracked that thing up, got my Heat Waves, all the extra cards, were there. And for $8, now I have a $20 card. It's crazy how that works out sometimes. So go to
Yeah,
your
for real.
Walmart, get Heat Waves.
And Cashier Fenrir too. I didn't know the ultis were actually at single
Yeah,
digits. So that's crazy too to see that they're at like $60.
Yeah,
A good
no.
friend of mine, actually, we'll shout him out, Mr. Pagan, but Mr. Papa Joe. He definitely has a whole bunch of my higher tiered Cashier cards for whenever I want to come back on that deck full throttle. I make sure that I got the source to get him back from. But he's definitely sitting pretty with those right now. Those I didn't know that they were going up that high. I'm pretty sure he got him on a dip from me, the little bastard. So also, I mean, I think that if I'm going to give a couple cards too, that just to be noticeable, Sanctifier, I think is going to be another one that's going to probably go up. It wasn't hit on the list. Gimmick Puppet Lock is still a thing. Not that the Gimmick Puppet archetype is actually going to use it, but the actually branded players are still going to use it. So Sanctifier, I think, took a dip because people got scared that it was going to get hit like Expulsion. It didn't. I think that's a card that if you haven't sold now's the time to sell into it while people are going to be chopping back on that. And if you held on to it, good job, just because you just knew that shit wasn't going to get hit. Pankratops, I feel, is a card where you want to get it now because I'm surprised it didn't come to 3. So I would say get your secrets now before they shoot up from a $5 card to like 15, 20. Maybe even this QC or not QCR, the CRs, the collector's rares, you can probably get anywhere between like $100 to $120. So if you're gonna start blinging out your set now, I think that's gonna be coming back on the next set or at least something future. The Magispector link, if you guys hold on to that, like we were talking about earlier, that shit went from like $3 to about fucking $15-$20 overnight, and then I think it's still climbing, if I'm not mistaken. It might have cooled down at time of recording, but that shit was still like crazy to see. All the Thunder Dragon core cards have seen spikes, especially from that Megaton that year. I think it was like the 2019 Megaton. So all those Prismatic Secrets, all the Colossuses, all the obviously Colossus Secrets, I think we're touching like 25, 30, and that was just for unlimbs. The ultis were touching close to $100, $120 from the OTS ultis. So like that was one that I think that if you held on to for some reason, you just had that gut feeling it was coming back. Yeah, now's the time you're flourishing, dog. You definitely did your thing. So I would be moving your Thunder Dragon cards if I were you. It's not a tested or proven archetype right now. No one's been labbing with it for like the last X amount of time because no one knew that Colossus was coming back to 1. A lot of other cards that we were talking about, like Nemesis Flag and Nemesis Corridor, are all seeing spikes. They were like $5, and then now the corridors itself are like $14 to like $16. I think that was a crazy spike. So those are things I would be getting rid of now while you have the chance to see actual real money for them, and instead of just hopes that something might bring them higher. I think now is the time to get rid of them and just sell into that hype and buy into it if something doesn't happen with it, and maybe you want to lab more. And then the Striker Core, you guys know Engage went to 3. It's still as strong as it's probably gonna be. Maybe there's gonna be a format for it. I don't really personally like Engage going to 3. I got the PTSD from Engage, so going out to those regionals, it was kind of hard to see them search the out to my immediate board and then draw another card on top of it, and it's always fucking Ray. So If you have the cards, I would definitely be sure to hold on to them. But I would definitely be another core that I would let go of now that engages at 3 to get some sort of like whatever, squeeze every sort of little value out of your cards that you can, personally. So I don't know if you guys have anything to say about those, but those are definitely my picks.
Oh yeah, I mean, the Thunder Dragon Colossus spike was actually like really nice because I had a couple of those, so I was able to actually like get rid of those through TCG Player because, like you said, they're gonna drop on that. Like we've actually seen price wars like chew through that price like already within like a day. So a lot of things like if you're seeing price wars and you have them, you got to get rid of them like immediately. Like the faster the
Big
better. Or
facts.
else like waiting an extra like 3 hours, you lost like $20. You know, like it's not worth it. And then on top of that, like you, the ones you were talking about, would it spiked, but it's like going up and up. I forgot which card you literally
Oh, the
mentioned.
Magic Spectre link.
Yeah, those are the ones. It's like, and again, it's it's from a pack. It's a recent pack. People are just trying to build the deck. I mean, I think that's an interesting one because I mean, if it starts getting bought out, that's when it's like if you have it, you got to be careful. It's like, is it time to sell? Is it time to hold? Because some
Oh,
of
it's
them,
always
yeah,
time to sell
yeah,
that shit. All that
yeah.
rogue shit, sell it. Always. I'm never. This may not be financial advice, nigga. This is me telling you, sell
Yes.
that dumbass card. Don't you fucking. If
I
I ever
love
see
it.
you at an event and you come up to me and tell me, "Oh, I cut my Magic Spectre link because I'm playing it," no, fuck you, guy. Get your money.
I
I know
love
you're
you
not
so
about your
much.
guap.
Yes.
All right, now fuck you. Sell that shit. You better be coming and telling me, bro. I sold every single fucking Magic Spectre link I had because fuck that rogue ass deck. That's what I better hear. I went
So I
out
shouldn't have
and
bought the core. Oh no.
no, you should not
No,
have
I'm
bought
just
the
kidding. No, I'm just
fucking
kidding.
core. That's what
uh,
I'm telling you. This ain't financial advice. This is direct orders. Sell that shit.
just to talk a
Yes.
little bit about that same thing. I think people just there's a lot of pendulum players, that don't get to play pendulum. So they see any pendulum, thing happen, Kieran back to one, May Spectre new card, this, that.
Pendulum best dog.
Yeah, exactly. They're gonna try and hold on, and they want to play. They come in and buy the cards, and they realize that it's not that good. So yeah, but yeah, great picks, man. Pankratops, I think it'll see its day. Honestly, just seeing Pankratops now, I just it came to my brain that Miscellaneousaurus, like we need that at 2, man. I thought it would maybe
Yes.
bump up to 2. So I'm disappointed in Konami. You know what I mean? The card is broken, but come on now, we need Pankratops at 3, Miscellaneousaurus at 2, and let us play some dinos. And Sanctifier, yeah, of course. Everyone thought it would get hit. It didn't. Price reaction obviously is going to be positive towards the upside. So you nailed it on that one. The Thunder Dragon core as well. And strikers, yeah, like we said with Azalea, it's easy money down the line. So I agree with you, brother.
Mm. I don't want to toot my own horn, but I'm just saying I'd be out there in the trenches, so I'd be knowing what people would be looking for and what's not. I
Uh-oh.
went to locals today and I saw even people because we have what's at our locals. So shout out to Comic Zone. We have at our locals called Last Chance Ban. So whenever the ban list is announced, that Sunday we get to play one ban card in our deck list before the next format. So some people were playing Thunder Dragons because they could just play the one Colossus as if it was legal.
Okay.
And they were labbing. I saw, bro, just pure Thunder Dragon. I saw niggas playing the Horus Thunder Dragon just because they're able to send the Thunder Dragon cards with
Yes.
the King Sark and shit like that, bro. I saw a whole bunch of wild ass shit. So definitely people are labbing with this shit. It's getting people excited for sure. So I'm definitely glad to see it. And then our last topic for today, because I know we're starting to stretch into that hour-long mark, and I appreciate everyone for giving me their time today, especially our guests. Oh, we actually have a new card revealed to us from Infinite Forbidden, which is the core set that's coming up after Legacy of Destruction. And it seems to have given some of the player base a little bit of PTSD of another certain card that is banned in the TCG. So we're looking to go over that real quick. And that card is called, if I'm not mistaken, Molchummy Perulia. I'm thinking what the name is called, but I suck at pronunciation. So this is a level 4 water aqua effect monster with 100 attack and 600 defense, and the effect reads as the following. You can only activate the effects of other Malchummy monsters during the turn you activate this card. The first effect is if you control no cards, quick effect, you can discard this card, apply these effects for the rest of the turn. Each time your opponent normal or specials a monster from the hand, immediately draw one card. During the end phase, if you have more cards in your hand than the number of cards in your opponent controls plus 6, shuffle random cards from your hand into the deck equal to the difference. So this is a card that's been revealed to us coming out that some people are referring to as Max C or a Max C-esque effect. But instead of being able to draw every time your opponent special summons, period, this is a draw every time your opponent specials or normals specifically from the hand. And apparently, you can only activate the effects of other chummy monsters that one turn. So it's either that one, and I'm assuming there's going to be another archetype for it. But at the end, you have to shuffle random cards equal to the amount of monsters your opponent controls plus 6 back into the deck. So it's an interesting card. What are you guys' opinions off first thoughts? Because I definitely want to go into some of the applications. Do you guys think that this could be a meta warping card? Is it format changing, or is it just another overhyped card that people are going to be looking past this like 2 weeks after its import?
Yeah, my first immediate response was, "Oh hell yeah, this is what I want. This is
This
everything I
guy.
need right
Are you
now."
wait?
Yes.
First off, before we answer these questions, also state if you are a Max C to 3 or Max C to 0 guy.
I am a Max C enthusiast, and
This motherfucker.
yeah, a defendant. Ooh, amazing! It's so good. So yeah, I mean, no, this is great. I definitely think, this makes me realize that someone from Konami, at least, like the United States part of it, is just thumbing through X all day. Like they're just thumbing through X and reading all the, like, I think it was like Hardleg, the guy who like hates Max C. You know what I mean? And they're just like, oh yeah, man, like all these erratas that everyone basically comes up with, like they're like, yes, we're making this. So that's what this is, and I love it still, even with all the quirky effects and the little drawbacks that it has. But I think overall it'll be a good card. I think it'll be nice to wait and see how it affects the meta, but I do believe it will be tested, and at some point in time it will have some success. Maybe put 3 of these with 3 Maxi in the TCG. I don't know. I mean, I think that's
Yo, this
something we could
motherfucker.
actually
No, I don't know
we
about
go
all
doing
that.
to it. But
This man just wants pandemonium. He's not even fucking playing the format till Vados comes out. So
man, give me 3 Maxi.
he's just trying to walk into a fucking war zone. This guy.
So, but I saw people were talking about being able to affect flu with this card, which is really cool. I thought that was like really interesting.
Oh, you're drawing
And
5.
then yeah, you're just drawing a million. Yeah. And then
Yeah.
it's like during the end phase, if you have more cards in the hand than the number of cards your opponent controls plus 6, shuffle random cards. The random part, little scary, I'll be honest. Like that could have mess things up. But honestly, if you drew that many cards, you're probably good to go. So I overall think this is a great card. I'm excited for it, and I just hope that this doesn't get Maxi banned in the OCG because I love you guys.
Well, I'm a max C to 1.5. He says 0 to 3. That was the range. Give me 1.5. Nah, I'm a max C,
Okay.
advocate per se.
Hell yeah.
I used to play in the format, and if I have it, the opponent can have it too. I understand it could get toxic if you don't see it and they do, vice versa. But I'm more of a guy like, just let us play. Just give us masterpiece, give us diagram, give us max C, let us live with the results. You know what I mean? But this card, yeah, I mean, like Vengeful said, just it has a lot of little quirks, that you have to keep in mind. The fact that it's from the hand, normal or special summons, so that's very specific, and then the end phase part as well. So I think some way, somehow, people are gonna find a way to squeeze this in, to meta relevant decks. So we'll see. It's also water support coming out in the future, and then we'll see how this, Mochumi archetype when it comes out, like future support for it, and how it plays with that specific deck as well. So I'm excited. I like that a card like this was released or is coming to us per se, just to mix things up and to get people trying to create, shenanigans, plays, and things of that nature, and just to see how it'll eventually pan out.
Yeah, it definitely reminds me of no material too, because I'm pretty sure you have to control no cards. Yeah, you have to control no cards to activate this. So it's like one of those cards where like you're definitely not doing it turn 1 if you already have established the board, and you probably have to do it going second, and you can't do it on a crackback because you usually have cards on field. So it's kind of like want to put no material shifter-esque effect where it's like it's not good past turn 0 anyway, so if you don't open that shit, oh well. But you never quite know. There's a lot of things that because my boy Devon and I were sitting there talking about, well, how many times do people summon from the hand or like normal summon besides flu? And like you got the meta decks being Snake Eyes, being able, especially the Fire King version. I mean, they can special summon the Witch. Everyone's gonna special summon Witch. That's a draw. They can special summon Garunix from the hand after it gets searched and popped. That's a draw. When the Kieran can special summon from the hand Arvada or like Ponix or some shit, that's a draw. Like there's just a lot of cards in the format. Even with Voiceless Voice being able to ritual summon, if they hard ritual summon from anywhere other than the deck, then it's going to be from the hand, which is another draw. Like a lot of decks you don't realize special from the hand or normal from the hand, but they do. Like everyone has a normal summon from their deck that's at least one draw. So if there's no downplay of shotgunning this card, is like, but the exception of having to put cards back, but that's only if your opponent does anything. Like so, I don't think there's a lot of drawbacks besides just being having to control no cards. But this is definitely an interesting card to say the least, for sure.
Yeah, I think the other thing too is we saw with the anti-spell fragrance going to 1, so I think this follows suit with Kieran and all of that coming back. Is I eventually I think we're going to see a little bit of pendulum support, and I think cards like this are even good against pendulum decks because a lot of times to make up for the extra deck restrictions, they have them summoning from the hand, and then when we get new water support, it being a level 4 water, very nice.
Yeah, exactly. So
Yeah.
let's see where that goes to. What about you, Fresh?
No. Yeah, I said it all. I find the card intriguing. I like it honestly, and like I said, I think people are gonna play around with it. We're gonna see it pop up here and there, and I'm just excited to see not just with this card, with the ban list, just everything. How the meta is gonna be reshaped starting Monday, I believe so, or whenever that date is that you said
Yup.
you were gonna clear it up for us. But yeah, pretty soon next week,
Mm.
the meta is gonna be reshaped. We're getting new cards in Legacy of Destruction. We're getting this new card eventually later in the year. We're probably getting reprints in the 25th Rarity Collection too in Battles of Legends. So, a lot of good stuff coming for Yu-Gi-Oh! For the latter part
Mm-hmm.
or heading into mid-year. So I look forward to all of that. Yeah.
Yeah, especially what you just said. Just to clarify for those who were listening from earlier, the ban list is effect as of tomorrow, the day of recording, which is the Monday. So the day before you guys are going to be hearing this, at the 15th of April for North America and Latin America. But this list will not take effect in the EU, Africa, or the Oceania until next week or further on later in the week, which will be April 22nd. And that's because I'm pretty sure we have the French Open tournament, which is going to be this weekend coming up, and I didn't think they wanted to like make those players scramble like 3 or 4 days before that event. So yeah, so just to clarify it up, so ours in the North America and South America are getting ours ineffective starting this Monday, whereas later on in the week for Oceania, Africa, and obviously EU. So just to clear that up for some people who will be paying attention. But with all that being said, guys, it looks like we are starting to run out of light points here. We have a nice juicy episode for you guys, a lot of content in there. So I wanted to thank and respect our guests for coming on here. Just a reminder to all the listeners above on the content, be sure to check out our Linktree link down in the description box below. Click on it, follow all the sites and whatnot. We'll be doing giveaways for everyone we hit, so you can be sure to be a part of those. Be sure to go to that description box below and catch our Unplug Gaming's Discord link. You can go down there and join their Discord for sponsoring the podcast, and you can be a part of all the TCGs that they got going on there. And last but not least, once again, catch Brad, aka Mr. Perfect, live streaming on Twitch every Saturday night at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. His Twitch is also in the Linktree link down below. You can be sure to catch him doing deck theory, some play testing, whether it's on EDO Pro, maybe some dueling book. He's probably on Master Duel. It doesn't really matter what it is. Be sure to catch him out there doing his thing, and you will be sure to have fun for sure. And make sure to interact with his chat too, because he definitely does be shouting him out on the Friday night wrap up. Just once again, a thanks to both of our guests, Vengeful Shadows and YGO Fresh Off the Press, for coming out there and having fun and basically giving us their input on what their market watch knowledge is, and especially going in after a ban list, what you guys should be looking out for card wise, and basically what you should be looking out for to get those pockets back, because that's what we're talking about. You're selling your fucking links, guys. That's what we all talked about. We're selling our Magic Spectre links. This is it. You heard this and you're still not selling it. It's on you. But we just want to thank them for donating their time and coming on for the cause. Is there any last minute shout outs or mentions you guys have, or final thoughts on the show, anything like that before we close out?
Everything, as always, man, shout out to you for having us. It's always a fun time, and we always look forward to getting together. Just good time overall. Shout out to, T Hug Pie, Thug314, he's the best. And just shout out to everyone who's watching. You guys are the best, and you can always check me out on Vengeful Shadows on YouTube.
Yeah, it's with the W and with the 0.
It's a 0WZ.
All right. Yeah. Again, guys, thanks for having me on. Shout out to Vengeful, man. Great dude as well. Obviously, Player X,
Shout out to you,
amazing.
bro.
Yeah, appreciate it. For having us on. And yeah, go ahead and link in the description, probably down below. Just check out the channel. Make sure you subscribe. We do daily market watches. Shout out to Sage for running the Discord, a member of the channel. He's amazing. Go over there, check it out. We always have fun, good vibes, trying to positively impact people's lives. I know you guys appreciate it. Make sure you swing by and say hi.
And absolutely, guys, as usual, I will make sure to tag both of them down below in the description, so you can be sure to catch out both their content, both of their Twitters, get their information. You can basically reach out to them and make sure that you guys are up to date on all Market Watch information. With that being said, we are officially all out of light points, guys. Thank you so much for listening. I am Player X. You've been listening to the Semi Limited podcast. Thank you so very much. And with that being said, good night.